Hello, namaste, sasyakal, adab. Welcome back, everybody, to Crick Tracker's special show in the air with me, Nivedna Prabhu. It's time for yet another exciting series. This time around, of course, India takes on West Indies. Aapke kya predictions hai? What questions also would you like to ask our cricket guests who are going to be joining me in the studios? Sub, put that in the comment section. And without wasting any more time, let me bring on my first guest on the show, Gauri, who is bleeding blue right aptly for this particular tournament. Sabse pehle, Gauri, the previous series was against South Africa, but this time around
Right.
West Indies at home. What are we expecting? Apart from the fact that as an Indian fan, you would want them to clinch this one, we also see Rohit Sharma at the helm of affairs for this ODI series. So quite exciting. And what are your expectations going into this?
I think it's going to be quite exciting because obviously Rohit Sharma को पहले captaincy करते हुए देखा है हमने, but it will be his first times since full time getting the captaincy full time, and also Virat Kohli coming as a pure batter under him. So I think it's going to be quite exciting, and obviously without saying that wait for that 71st century will continue. Obviously that is on the sidelines, but apart from that we'll get to see, I think, a very interesting action. This being held behind the doors, I think it's a little bit upsetting for the fans, but I think because people were expecting कि काफी ज्यादा आपको वहां पे देखने को माहौल मिलेगा. Obviously when you are playing at the home, तो आपके लिए जो सबसे बड़ा पॉजिटिव होता है, that's your home support and home everything, and जब closed doors के पीछे हो जाता है तो things go little differently. But I think this will be a great start for them, given that कि हमारे प्लेयर्स पिछली सीरीज से कितना ज्यादा अपने आप को बैक करके आते हैं, क्योंकि साउथ अफ्रीका टूर बहुत सारे फ्रंट पे अच्छा नहीं गया इंडिया के लिए, गिवन दैट उन्होंने टेस्ट सीरीज को एक विन पे स्टार्ट किया था सेंचुरियन में, बट वो आगे उसको जाके कन्वर्ट नहीं कर पाए, ना ही टेस्ट सीरीज में ना ही ओडीआईज में. तो आई थिंक दिस विल बी अ ग्रेट चांस फॉर देयर रिवाइवल.
Okay, so that's a great way to kind of start out to summarize what we're expecting from the ODI series. What do you all think? Let me know in the comment section. To everybody giving us all shout outs and saying hi. Hi to everybody. We're glad that you could join us on Crick Tracker's special show in the air. And usi ke saath, let me bring on my next guest, Pratyay Tiwari, joining me in the studios. Unke hisab se kya hoga? Pratyay, this is also extra special because this is the 1,000th ODI that India will be playing, and also, like I pointed out, that it's going to be Rohit Sharma at the helm of affairs. So what are you expecting apart from a fabulous contest?
Well, definitely, it's a momentous occasion, and of course, it's a massive achievement. I mean, 1,000 ODIs, it's a big feat, and yeah, I think it's also a start of a new era. Because Rohit Sharma, he was supposed to lead the side in South Africa, but got ruled out because of the hamstring injury. Now coming back, but also the fact that now India is at home, and whenever we talk about India at home, they are as formidable as any team anywhere because we know what kind of prowess they have when they are playing at home. Yes, of course, even before the first ball of the series is delivered, they have dealt with body blows because there are, a key personnel that they are missing out in Shikhar Dhawan. There's no Ruturaj Gaikwad as well. There's no Shreyas Iyer as well. So of course there are certain question marks. There are certain players that you do not have. But again, the depth that we have, the replacements that we have, looking at the entire setup, the kind of form that this team has, and the kind of structure they have, I don't think that they would be missing out on those players who are not with them. Because if you talk about the replacements, you talk about Ishan Kishan, you talk about Deepak Huda, you talk about even Shah Rukh Khan for that matter, all of them are proven commodities, and they have actually gone on to prove themselves in various setups, including the domestic setup, or you talk about the IPL. So I think that yes, India would definitely be the overwhelming favorites. South Africa जो series थी, that was also not counting towards the ICC ODI Super League. This one does count, and from that perspective, of course, West Indies would be more worried क्योंकि उनके लिए पॉइंट ज्यादा जरूरी है. ऑटोमेटिक क्वालिफिकेशन है इंडिया के पास बिकॉज दे आर द होस्ट टू the 2023 ODI World Cup. So they would not be too worried. But again, this is very crucial from West Indies' perspective. Not to forget, they lost against Ireland 2-1 at
Right.
home, and that was a shell-shocking loss, I think. So for them, it has to be time for them to be making amends right now.
Right. Talking also about stats, or rather something that makes it far more interesting is head to head. So of course this is what Pratyay had to say in terms of another series. Lekin, what is the head to head looking like when India and of course West Indies have clashed in the ODI format? We'll take a look at that. But before that, we have India in the last 5 completed ODIs at Ahmedabad. Of course, everyone's excited to see this at the Narendra Modi Stadium as well. Jahan pe India have won on 2 occasions and lost on 3. If we could take a look at the head to head between India and West Indies in the ODI format, jahan pe it is probably a very close call because they have played 133, out of which India has won 64 and West Indies have won 63. So I'll come to you, Gauri, on that with both the stats that we have over here, them playing in this particular stadium, and on the other hand, very close call between both the teams in this particular format.
राइट आई थिंक इट्स अ क्लोज कॉल बिकॉज वेनेवर आप जब दो टीम को देखते हो और दे आर प्लेइंग लाइक दिस बहुत नेक टू नेक कॉम्पिटिशन होता है बट फॉर द फैक्टर दैट यू कैन नॉट रिलाई एग्जैक्टली ऑन फैक्ट्स बिकॉज आपको पता है पहले क्या हेड टू हेड रिकॉर्ड्स रहा है पहले क्या चीजें रही है दैट डजंट मीन दैट totally imply on the day when you're playing again. So on the given day you have to back your strengths, have to be ready with the squads, given that India के पास इतना ज़्यादा COVID का actually whenever a series start there's a lot of COVID cases coming around up and all that, but the like Pratyay said जो इंडिया की बेंच स्ट्रेंथ है जो इंडिया के पास बैकअप है दैट इज टू ओवरवेलमिंग आई थिंक सो इस बेंच स्ट्रेंथ को ध्यान रखते हो बिकॉज ओडीआई व्हेन यू टॉक ऑफ देयर शिखर धवन देयर इज वन नेम बिकॉज ही इज प्लेइंग दैट particularly that format only, so he is probably the one name you will always want him to open, you know, and give flying starts to India. But given that he's not there, we already have so many good backups in mind and so many good backups in the squad, so we really cannot worry about that fact. In fact, we'll from here we can look to, you know, have a positive start despite having all the losses at our end. So I believe it's going to be a quite a good day for India. अगर नेक टू नेक हमारे पास इतना हेड टू हेड हमारे पास इतना क्लोज है इतने क्लोज कॉल्स है तो दैट डजंट मीन दैट इट्स नॉट गोइंग इन इंडियाज फेवर, इट इज अपराइटली इन फेवर ऑफ वेस्ट इंडीज. होम सीरीज डेफिनेटली कॉल्स फॉर होस्ट टू बी फेवरेट्स, सो आई बिलीव दैट विल बी द की फैक्टर फॉर इंडिया.
Okay, आप सबको क्या लगता है in terms of, you know, of course, with the fact that Gauri just spoke about Dhawan as well, you know, India will be missing the services of him. But on the other hand, what is your predicted playing 11? I definitely want to know. So tell me that in the comment section. And then, you know, of course, we at Crick Tracker will be showing you our predicted playing 11 of both the teams. So let's take a quick look at that. And I'll come back to Gauri. We seem to have lost Pratyay due to some technical issues. But Gauri, coming back to you about the
Yes.
predicted playing 11 here. Is that the combination you would be going with?
रोहित शर्मा, ईशान किशन, विराट कोहली, श्रेयस अय्यर, ऋषभ पंत, शार्दुल ठाकुर, दीपक चहर, कुलदीप यादव. आई थिंक इसमें जो द बिगेस्ट पॉजिटिव आई एम सीइंग इज दैट कुलचा कमिंग बैक फॉर आफ्टर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. आई थिंक कुलदीप चहल बहुत ज्यादा एक ऐसा पेयर था जो आप इंडिया के लिए मिस कर रहे थे, खासकर कुलदीप Yadav especially not getting chances in India's, you know, last tours and all that. He was being sidelined for so many reasons. But let's see. I think ये coming back है तो एक बहुत ही अच्छा contest इंडिया को देखने को मिल सकता है. वो एक दूसरे को जैसे compliment करते थे that particularly spin pair. So I think India fans are definitely waiting for that particular thing. So I think they coming back to the Indian setup will be a great thing for India to see. Obviously हमारे पास शिखर धवन नहीं है, ऋतुराज गायकवाड नहीं है, but let's see all positives.
You know, talking about the fact that you spoke about Kulcha, the update coming in is that India have won the toss and elected to bowl first. Do you think that's because an added like kind of confidence going in with this combination? Of course, we have to wait for the playing 11 officially. Lekin, what do you think with the fact that they've gone into bowl first?
आई थिंक बोल फर्स्ट के साथ अगर गए हैं तो डेफिनेटली कोई उनके दे वुड बी हैविंग समथिंग एट द बैक ऑफ द माइंड बिकॉज आप टीम के साथ इतना बड़ा हाई प्रोफाइल गेम खेलो यू कैन नेवर गो विदाउट यू नो हैविंग सम टेक्निक्स और सम टैक्टिक्स एट द बैक ऑफ योर माइंड. सो डेफिनेटली दे विल बी हैविंग समथिंग सम प्लानिंग विद दैट. एंड इफ यू नो लेट्स सी अगर बॉलिंग के लिए फर्स्ट लिया तो आई थिंक पहले ओवर्स में वो जो है विकेट्स क्रूशियल विकेट्स दे ट्राई टू यू नो चर्न आउट दोस क्रूशियल विकेट्स. एंड अगर बहुत ज्यादा अच्छी स्टार्ट ना मिले उनको इसकी कोशिश डेफिनेटली आई थिंक इंडियन बॉलर्स की रहेगी गिवन दैट दे आर आल्सो गोइंग विद दीपक चहर. न्यू बॉल के साथ बहुत अच्छा करने के लिए जाने जाते हैं तो आई थिंक दीपक चहर विल बी अगेन की फॉर इंडिया टू नो गिव अ वेरी गुड स्टार्ट व्हेन इंडिया आर बॉलिंग फर्स्ट.
Okay, to everybody who's joined in and in the comment section giving us, you know, your shout outs. Hi to everybody. Now, you tell me with the toss, you know, update having come in that India have won the toss and elected to bowl. What do you think? And also give me your predicted playing 11 for this competition. Now, talking about another thing which is very exciting. We know that Gauri is still waiting like everybody else for Virat to be getting that century. Like, and on the other hand, what are the approaching milestones in this particular clash that we're going to see? If we could take a look and also get all your opinions as well as Gauri's opinion as well in terms of that approaching milestones. I'm pretty sure we're going to find quite a few interesting ones wahan pe. You know, Chahal is 1 wicket away from completing 100 scalps in ODIs. Kohli requires 6 runs to reach 5,000 runs in ODIs at home. And do we have okay, so looking at those two approaching milestones, both look doable, Gauri. Okay, on the other hand, we have Puran needs 4 to reach 100 fours in the 50 overs format, and Holder requires 46 runs to complete 2,000 runs in ODIs. So talking about, you know, overall milestones, are all possible? Yeah, what are you placing your
I think
bets on?
the holder one's little tricky. Holder 46 runs to get that milestone. I think it is little tricky. Lekin Virat Kohli ka those getting 5,000 runs at ODI home. I think that's look very much doable. Yuzurendra Chahal getting 100 ODI wickets, just one scalp away from that milestone is also looking very doable. I think वो एक series के में अपने आप को back करेंगे. I think coming back after a long time having that particular pair कुलचा के साथ जब वो एक there's a comeback, so I think he'll definitely back himself to get that one particular scalp to get those 100 scalps in ODI.
Right, and it'll be very exciting to see them back. But on the other hand, of course, we still have to wait for that official playing 11 to come in, which we will update you in a while. Pratyay, great to have you back with us. वहाँ पे अगर प्रोफेसर प्रत्यय से ही पूछते हैं, एक सवाल जो आ रहा है, according to Rao Asif, it's going to be a very tough selection for India today. They have many questions to solve. Will they go with Kulcha duo or go with someone like Washington Sundar? Pratyay, if you would like to answer that.
I think अगर हम बात करें अब जो कुलचा डॉग कॉम्बिनेशन की है, so we have not seen a lot of them in the last couple of years if you talk about, because 2019 के वर्ल्ड कप के बाद जो उनकी वापसी हुई थी, that was in the Sri Lanka series and that was a second string squad of sorts. Going by what Rohit Sharma has said in his press conference, he has said that he is wanting them to get back and he is wanting them to regroup, but they do not know if they would be exactly able to do that immediately. So I'm at least expecting them to be a part of this in this series. I'm at least expecting them to be regrouped and them to be in action together. But I'm not sure if India would exactly do that in the very first match, also considering that they have Washington Sundar and also Ravi Bishnoi in the ranks. So I think that at least in this series, we will definitely have at least one game where we can see both of them. Would that be the first game itself? That is something we will have the answer of in probably 3 or 4 minutes. But it would be definitely very interesting to see, because I feel that in South Africa series, the biggest concern for India was the spinners not being able to take the wickets in the middle overs. Those in that 11 to 40 over period. Even Rahul Dravid has been critical of that on that aspect. That is one area that India will have to work upon, because you cannot allow the opposition to have 100 run, 200 run partnerships, which India allowed South Africa to have, and we know what the result of that series was. They went on to lose 3-0. So I think that yes, if they come back, if the Kulcha duo comes back, it's a proven. I mean, it's a proven combination. And if they come back and if they are able to solve that issue of India not being able to take wickets in the middle overs, then I think India would be really happy.
Okay, that is of course the summary of how Pratyay would like to see this competition going. आप सबको क्या लगता है? I definitely want to know your predictions as well, and also talking about that combination. What do you think Team India is going to go with? Let me know. And who could prove to be really troublesome from the West Indies side for Team India? Give me your predictions as well. Now, another aspect that we all look forward to is those amazing player battles. So let's take a look as to terms of player battles. Mein kaun si aisi competition hoga that we're looking forward to? Gauri, coming to you about that. Kohli and the Holder, जहाँ पे अगर बात करें, there have been 4 dismissals, out of which Kohli has of course managed to get 233. Like you said, we're still waiting for that century. I think that 4 is going to become 5.
I won't say that. Being an Indian fan, I won't like to say that 4 becomes 5 today. Obviously, waiting for that 71st ton. But
100 के बाद भी हो सकता है ना?
Yeah. if that 100 comes in, I don't think we are going to mind anything happening after that.
Right.
So but given that we are waiting for a 71st, and that is all right, but given in the sidelines, we cannot forget the fact that he is contributing. I think a lot has been said about 71st century not coming, but you have to give attention to the fact that he is contributing in the numbers, 50s, 30s, 40s. He is chipping in, because just because he's not able to bring that particular 100, and just because the kind of benchmark he has set for himself, we are just waiting for that triple figure. But on the sideline, we just cannot forget that he is actually contributing. Even in the test match also saw that he played a very good knock. So I think that should also be in the mind of the fans. But despite saying all that, I will even say that we are waiting for that 71st ton yet again. So just let's see.
Spoken like a true Virat Kohli fan, having covered all the tracks and then said, okay, we're still waiting for that century. But like I always say, a player like Kohli, the caliber that the player of that he is, you obviously expect a lot more from him. But another exciting player battle to look forward to is between Rohit Sharma and Roach. यहाँ पे three dismissals, and Rohit has managed to score 187 runs. Pratyay, what is your take on this other exciting player battle? यहाँ पे are we also going to see a really good show by Rohit, because of course we were speaking earlier before we lost to the fact that ideally we would have liked to see the Rohit and Dhawan combination, but that's not going to be happening. So in terms of also this player battle and Rohit's individual performance, what are we looking forward to today?
See, in a way, if you talk about both these players, Kimar Roach or even for that matter Rohit Sharma, both of them are in a way coming back into the sides because Rohit of the injury, and Kimar Roach in fact coming after a very very long time because he last played in 2019. So he is of course a comeback man, and he has not played a lot of cricket in this while. I mean, he has been active, but definitely not in the limited overs format. So of course, it would be interesting now to see that how he makes that comeback, how he makes those amends, and of course he's a very senior bowler. He has a lot of experience under his belt. तो आई थिंक कि एक जो वेस्ट इंडीज का जो पेस अटैक है जो थोड़ा सा पिछले कुछ 2-3 सीरीज में हमने देखा है कि बहुत ज्यादा वहाँ पे चेंजेस हुए हैं. आई थिंक किमार रोच इज समवन जो कि आके शायद उसको कुछ हद तक सेटल कर सकते हैं. Speaking of Rohit Sharma, see, of course, when you have that added responsibility of leading a side, things change a
True.
little. But what we have seen, as far as Rohit Sharma is concerned, he's someone who just does not think a lot. I mean, he has, whenever we talk about him, he's someone who is very free flowing with the way he bats or the way he even conducts himself. So I don't think that leadership is not something which is new for him. Of course, he has not led India as often as now he will be. But he has been at the helm of affairs for Mumbai Indians. We know what kind of success he has gotten there. And of
Yeah.
course, after all this, I mean, whatever has transpired in the last 2 to 3 months with the entire captaincy saga between Virat Kohli and all of that, now it is time for India to move on. Now it is time for them to focus on the right things because in the recent past, what we have seen is that the focus has been too much on the things it should not be on, and it has been too much on
True.
off the field. It has been too off the field. Now it has to culminate into something. And now that he has been given the responsibility, you would definitely expect him to bring all that experience he has of leading the Indian side, even as records. I mean, whatever, it's a very limited sample size that he has in leading India, but that limited sample size is extremely impressive. So I think that he would be able to build on to that.
Having spoken about that extra responsibility, a comment coming in from Rao saying that Rohit's first ODI as a full-time captain is India's, of course, 1,000th ODI. When captains like Ponting and Dhoni left ODI captaincies at 36, Rohit got this job at almost 35. So it's quite, according to him, he's excited and also it is like a historic ODI. So that's quite interesting to see. Gauri, do you want to give a quick take on that?
Uh,
Even with Dhawan in the Sri Lanka India series that we did see in
right.
July, he did get his probably due credit after a very long time. So how do you look at this when we're talking about captaincy and
I
age?
think, Dhawan leading in Sri Lanka, that was India's B side, obviously, because the main side was in UK at that time. So,
Yeah,
B side ko lead karna and that getting that full time ODI captaincy for your mainstream team is little different, to be honest. And now that he's given the full time ODI captaincy, and we can definitely say that age not being on his side, and आप long term prospect इतना ज़्यादा नहीं सोच सकते हो यहाँ से कि उसको कितने साल तक उसके पास captaincy रहेगी कितने. But I think BCCI and the management has lot given focus on this immediately upcoming World Cup. I think 2022 का जो हमारा T20 World Cup है and 23 का जो हमारा ODI World Cup है that we are going to play at home. So I think focus should be more on that with Rohit being captain for India. So I think in particular, and given that how he is going, I think keeping bit fitness aside because he's not maintaining very good records over there. So I think he's doing quite well. I think so. I think that should not be a worry that he's taking the captaincy of the team at the age of 35 as far as he's doing good.
yeah. As far as it works in his favor and in Team
Yeah.
India, everything is great, and it's going to be a big, tick mark for Team India. But on the other hand, of course, what we're all waiting for to see that combination of what both the teams have gone in terms of the playing 11. Let's take a quick look and find out who is going to be playing today. Now, over there, of course, in our predicted playing 11, if you look at the bowling lineup of India, Pratyay, I'll come to you over there. Any surprises, or were you expecting this combination for India first?
Yes, like I said, see, as I said that he has hinted already that we will be seeing Kulcha combination back, but would it be
Yeah,
as early as the first ODI? That was the question. So I think we
Hmm.
haven't got them right now. But if you look, I mean, we also have to factor in the fact that there is no Jasprit Bumrah rested. Again, Mohammad Shami is rested. So this
yeah,
is a great opportunity for because see if you talk about Siraj, he is more or less now established player. In a very little time, he has managed to do that. He has kind
yeah,
of cemented
True.
his spot. But if you talk about the likes of say Prasidh Krishna, someone who has been in and out of the team, he was a part of the England series that India played in March last year around this time again. But ever since then, he has not been able to stamp his authority the way he would have liked. So I think this is a great opportunity for him. And Siraj again, now this time with not neither having Bumrah or even for that matter Shami around him, this is now his opportunity to once again lead the pace attack. He did that in Brisbane, but that time he was very, very young. It was a test match. Now he is officially, you are looking towards him as the leader of the pace attack alongside the all-rounders, the pace all-rounders that you have in Deepak Chahar and Shardul Thakur. So I think that it's going to be interesting, of course, for Siraj to look towards this opportunity, single-handedly leading the pace attack. And speaking of West Indies, yeah, I think in their side the best part is that they so deep, and even in the England series, if you actually go on
Right.
to see what Akil Hussain managed to do in the second T20, and they ended up losing that. But still, I mean, the kind of scares they have. This is one of the
Yeah,
units whenever we talk about cricket being a team game. But I feel for West Indies, it is one of the teams which has the capacity to shine on individual brilliance, because
Hmm.
even if two or three players from their unit, if they fire on a given day, they have the guts to topple any side in front of them. So I think both the
that's right.
teams looking pretty balanced,
Yeah.
and of course India will be coming back to home. They would definitely want to make this a winning start.
Okay, so summarizing for
True.
both the teams, of course, the playing 11 combinations that we've seen here, according to, of course, Pratyay and Gauri, it looks, kafi tagda hai, and it looks like it's going to be quite an interesting competition. Of course, I don't want to ask predictions because I know both Pratyay and Gauri are rooting for Team India. But Gauri, I'll just come to you quickly. One player who can definitely trouble Team India from the West Indies side, and who are we banking apart from Kohli to get a century from Team India? Give me these two predictions before we wrap.
I think century obviously is a very big thing to ask for. I cannot just say that we are backing for somebody to just bring that particular century. I don't think so. We can say that even if you are asking, I'll still say I am waiting for Virat Kohli century over anybody's else's. So I
Okay,
don't
fair
think so.
enough.
I can say yeah. And for West Indies, you can say obviously that we talked about Kima Roach coming after back a long time, but he has been a very star and established player. So I think and given that West Indies के पास हमेशा से एक order इसलिए जाना जाता है कि वो बहुत ही अटैकिंग नॉक्स खेल सकते हैं, बहुत ही उनके जो प्लेयर्स हैं बहुत ही फायरी नॉक्स खेलने के लिए जाने जाते हैं, तो अगर एक और दो भी सिर्फ एक गिवन पर्टिकुलर डे पे चल गए तो आई थिंक डेफिनेटली वो बहुत गेम चेंजिंग हो जाता है उनके लिए. सो एंड टॉकिंग ऑफ दैट पोटेंशियल, इवन देयर स्किपर कायरन पोलार्ड हैज दैट कैपेसिटी, तो आई थिंक वो भी एक बहुत की फैक्टर होंगे उसके लिए, एंड आई थिंक ही कैन बी समवन हु कैन ट्रबल इंडिया बिग टाइम.
Okay, and of course, in the comment section, all I see is Kohli, 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 and century. Those are the only words that I'm seeing. So, of course, excitement to hai. Everybody's looking forward to this amazing, clash. And of course, in terms of the head-to-head that we've also seen previously between the both the teams, it is pretty close. So, on that very note, I want to thank everybody for joining us on Crick Tracker's special show In the Air. To my guests as well, both Pratyay and Gauri, for taking the time out, and all of you as well. But don't forget to join us on the other side, because we're going to join you once again in the post-match analysis to discuss everything that went on in the first ODI between India and West Indies. Until then, of course, stay tuned to Crick Tracker for the latest news in the world of cricket.